In episode 10, we witnessed the importance of the specialist. We saw how, when the specialist is in an area where they aren't skilled in, they falter. But when finally put in an area where they excel in, they thrive. The scene of Armin's speech is one of my favorites in the whole series. Armin was a boy who was portrayed as a weak victim of this world. His parents and grandparents are all gone, and his friends are all he has left. His friends are the only thing that gets him by in life, his only joy, his only place of belonging. But his whole life he felt that he was holding his friends back. Armin was physically weak and soft. He was not a fighter. It would be his tough friends Aaron and Mikasa who would come and save him whenever he had an altercation. In a savage, kill or be killed world, you need to know how to fight in order to survive. Armin was just not good at combat. He did not have the killer instincts and physical gifts that Mikasa had. He did not possess the mental fortitude, willpower, and drive to keep fighting as Aaron did. He felt that he was the weak link. He felt that his friends always had to come and save him. Every time there was a conflict, he thought he was a hindrance. Until that one time, when his friends needed him the most. When it was do or die, success or death, not just for him, but the ones who were most dear to him.
Aaron! Mikasa! I am a soldier! And I have dedicated my heart to the restoration of humanity, sir! Nothing could make me prouder than dying for such a noble cause! If we were to use his Titan ability and combine it with the manpower we have left, I believe we can do it! We can retake this city! For humanity's glory, and what little time I have left to live, I will advocate his strategic value! Captain Foreman.
This whole time, Armin was in fact saving his friends on countless occasions. It's just that he was placing himself in the wrong role. He only thought of his weaknesses in battle and didn't give any recognition to his intellect and tactical genius. He thought strength can only be shown on the front lines, like his friends so often did, but that was not the case. Armin finally discovered his gift, his strength. Armin learned that he was not as useless as he thought he was. He just gave himself the expectations of a role he was never fit to be in, playing a role that drew his weaker skills, rather than allowing him to showcase his greatest strengths. Following a path you are not fit for being in, a path that directly addresses your weaknesses, results in low rates of success, or death in a world as cruel as Armin's. Armin learned that he was not a generalist in a world that hunted titans, but he was a specialist. A specialist in strategy, a specialist in understanding the minds around him, a specialist in articulation, a specialist in strategic warfare. Armin finally understood that, although he was not able to fit in the mold of a general soldier, he could excel in aspects that only he can. That is why he's been able to save his friends on countless occasions. Armin's role is not of a stone-cold killer or a rampaging titan, but a mastermind in strategy. Imagine if the group decided to have Aaron or Mikasa come out to persuade the troops to spare their lives. No doubt it would have been a disaster, as they all would have been killed. Armin was the only one who could get them out alive. He was the only one able to save his friends. Not by the strength of his physical abilities, but by persuasion, by his decisions, by his undying loyalty to risk everything for his friends. Imagine if Armin never realized this moment in his life, and went on to follow the mold of a combat-oriented soldier in the shadows of Aaron and Mikasa. He would end up dead and would have wasted his potential. Because again, he is playing to his weaknesses rather than his strengths. Another example of this can be seen through Eren, Mikasa, and Armin. Imagine if you have Armin take Mikasa's place as a straight-up killer, and have Eren take the place of Armin as the strategic mastermind. I think it's safe to say they'll get everyone killed if they did that, because their skills do not fit the role. But if you put them in a role in which their skills fit, not only will the individual thrive, but the whole group, the whole squad will as well. They all will synergize together when everyone is in a role that they are better suited to be in. That said, there is an argument for staying in areas that you are weak in order to get better at them, but that is a conversation for another video. In our case, especially in a group, you cannot linger in areas that you are weak in. Whether in small squads or even a bigger platoon, it doesn't make sense to dabble in your weaker areas and become a liability to everyone else, when in fact, you can be making the biggest impact you can by working through your strengths. By working through your strengths, you can increase your group's rate of success, in turn, further honing your strengths and making yourself as well as the group better. Why would you place yourself at a situation in which you are at a disadvantage? If you want to be successful, you need to play to your strengths. With all that said, we can use this train of thought to benefit our own lives. Everyone has something they are inherently great in. We are all so unique with our genes and our upbringings. Through nature and nurture, no one in this world has the exact same characteristics and experiences. Through your experiences and genetic attributes, there has to be something you can excel in. Think to yourself, what are you good at? What are your strengths? If you stick with it and make it even better, you will become an expert, a specialist in that area. And once you're at that point, your skill set will be of high value. Your chances of success, the money you make, the impact you have, will be much higher if you focus your time and energy on further honing your strengths. That said, what are your strengths? Everyone has unique strengths no matter who you are. Think to yourself, what can you do to further cultivate your strengths? If you fall into the group that doesn't know their strengths, put yourself through different sets of problems and jobs and try to figure out what you're good at through trial and error. You can also ask someone close to you to further understand yourself, as sometimes others will notice things you wouldn't have. For Armin, this was his turning point, when his friends acknowledged his abilities. Furthermore, anyone can train themselves to become a specialist. If you still can't find anything, or it doesn't coincide with your life, then you can always cultivate a skill through diligent work and persistence. Managing Oneself by Peter Drucker is something I would highly recommend if you want to learn more about this, as it is a short read, but it details the practical applications of working towards your strengths